Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We've got a pretty good 8-game slate here for you on Monday night to kick off this work week. In this one, taking a look at the MAVS, headed to Dallas, taking on the Mavericks. Take a look at some of the best bets in this one for you. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com as well as some best bets and player props in there for you. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page, as we got a couple other videos for you up today, including that player props video that will look to continue to stay super hot as we ended the week big money up on Friday last week. Make sure you are on thelines.com as well, checking out that odds checker and the props tool that we have available for you there, making sure you find all of the best odds available from the odds makers on all your player props and team totals, etc. Everything we're looking for tonight. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's jump into it.
Yeah, Jazz right now +1 in Dallas. Total has not moved much. It's moved up from 216 to 217.5. But a lot of money has come in on that over as these teams have been playing some great offense lately. Both are 10-2 over their last 12. We'll look at some of those betting angles in a minute. But yes, there are 7 other games to look at tonight, including the first game we break down. Bulls +7.5 at Philly with a total of 232 there. James Harden expected to play. Vucevic is questionable, but we like the over either way. The Hawks are -7 at Detroit. Rockets +15 at Miami, and the Blazers are +15 in Minnesota. Lakers are +2 at the Spurs with a 235 total there. The Warriors are +8 at Denver. That spread fluctuated wildly with Steph Curry ruled out, in addition to Clay and Draymond still out for Golden State. And then the Knicks are +3.5 in Sacramento. Yeah, I mean, both these teams have been playing great ball since the Jazz got their 2 guys back, Donnie Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, of course. Now they're 10-2 over their last 12. Dallas also 10-2 in that span. These teams are playing at the second and slowest pace in the NBA during that span, but both top 7 in offense. So we have seen some overs here from Dallas. I mean, the key here in terms of your betting angles is that Dallas has been an under machine all season, but it's not necessarily been the case since that Kristaps Porzingis trade. Adding Spencer Dinwiddie, adding another playmaker, yet another guy that can just keep your offense so efficient, whether Luka's sitting or whether Luka's taking a break off the ball, has just kept them, able to score at such a high rate that you look at in their last 6, they've gone over in 4. Their offensive rating is basically 120 in that span. That's 6th best. Their defensive rating is 8th worst at 116. They're number 1 in 3-point shooting over their last 12, which is key against the Jazz. Jazz also near the top there. And both these teams, have struggled to guard the 3-point line. Dallas much better guarding the 3-point line in that span. Dallas at home taking care of business, won 6 of the last 7, 3 and 4 to the over. But the last 2 of those games went way over the total as Dallas just kind of caught fire from the perimeter. Now you're looking at the way they can space the floor. Dorian Finney-Smith playing very well as a knockdown shooter on the perimeter. Maxi Kleber is going to be a key in or out here tonight. He's questionable with an ankle injury. Jalen Brunson, I'm less concerned about with the foot, just because Spencer Dinwiddie can really just slot into his usage. He's been playing great again, but Kleber is key against a Rudy Gobert team because he can pull Rudy away from the basket. They can play 5 out. They can get Rudy, juggling his feet in space like we saw in that Clippers series, and that's when he gets into trouble. Interesting that the Jazz, they were way worse on both ends of the floor without Gobert. And since getting him back, they have not been any better on defense with him. In fact, their defensive rating is 119.2 in their last 6 with Gobert. 5 of those games on the road. And there's some really interesting home road splits for Utah as well, where they have the 4th worst defensive rating during this 10-2 stretch. On the road, offensive rating dips 9 points per 100 possessions too, whereas they're 7-0 at home in that span with a 122 offensive rating, best in the league. So I mean, just summarizing it, I think we like the over first and foremost. These teams hit 223 in Utah. Yeah. I think we actually expect more points in Dallas because Utah's defense is not as good. Dallas kind of plays the same way regardless. So I think 217 is an exploitable over for sure. And I'm leaning slightly towards the Mavericks, but I want to see who's playing with Brunson and Kleba, mainly Kleba, before I back Dallas to win. But yeah, I think over first and foremost. Yeah. And if you want to tease it with another game or to get some more value on the spread and get the over down to 213, I would feel fantastic about that.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to actually for the total. I'm actually wondering if Jalen Brunson is going to play for the Dallas Mavericks spread. I want to know if really both of them are going to play, and especially Kleba. I think that's a good point. But Brunson, in the combo of Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Luka has been just beautiful. Chef's kiss. I mean, it's been exactly what Luka needs, which is he needs guys that play off of him, and then he needs guys that can handle the load of the offense when he's not in. Jalen Brunson's been such a wonderful backup that they never are willing to let go of, and have finally started to having to start play in the starting lineup as well with the first team, more so than just coming in and running the second team offense, which he's been so good at because he can do not the same things that Luka can do. They're different players, but he's instant offense who also creates for those around him. And I think that's huge tonight for their offense, which is about 4 points better in terms of per 100 possessions this season when Jalen Brunson is playing in the games that he's actually available for. Their defensive rating really unimpacted by that, as he's not necessarily impacting their defense, but he just plays his role well. But I do think he's huge for them tonight for that total, because I really like the idea of them being able to spread out against Utah, who, both these teams have been shooting a ton of threes. We know since the trade for Dallas, they actually are now number 2 in terms of percentage points off of three, only second to Utah, who's number 1 and up to about 41.5% in their last 7 games of percentage points off of 3-pointers. So we know that they're going to continue to pull from out there. And actually, Utah is actually in that time also 7th in terms of guarding the 3-point line and limiting their opponent's 3-point percentage to the tune of, like I said, about the 7th best in the league in that time, which does make me feel like they have the slight advantage since we know we're going to see so many 3-pointers go up tonight. We still have the rebounding advantage hugely in the favor of Utah as well, as Dallas has been a very bad rebounding team overall since they've made that trade. Unsurprisingly, once you give up your center and get a guy like Davis Bertans, who hasn't stepped inside of a 3-point arc since he's been in the league, I don't believe. And then you've got Dinwiddie, who's not really adding much to their defense either. So I think, you look at why these teams, Dallas, yes, they go under at home, under machines, but it is a little bit more of a recent sample size that we need to look at before just going, okay, well, they're what are they, roughly 10 since January 3rd, especially. They've won 14 out of those 17 games, but at home, they've gone under, I believe 80% of the time. But in their last 2 at home, they've gone over, as we mentioned, pretty well over as well, and over the total of what this game sits at right now as well. And that offensive rating since the trade, it's really, really good. But it's also come at the expense of their defensive rating going down to 20th in the league, and their offensive rating jumping all the way up to 4th. So I think, there's with all the players, if we get everybody in the game tonight, I really, really like the over. I slightly like Dallas a little bit more, but this isn't why I really even want to talk about this game, was not really because of this spread. It was a lot more because I think we're getting value in the over, because mainly we're talking about since the trade, Dallas still playing at a just wildly slow pace. I mean, under 94 in terms of their last 7 home games as well, a pace of 93.7. It's absolutely slow as hell, but at the same time, they've still managed to go over in 3 of those 7 games because of the fact that their offense is so efficient right now, and they are hitting such a high percentage of those threes that they're shooting. So if you're going to shoot that many threes and still hit close to 40% of them, I think we can feel pretty good about Dallas Dallas keeping this game high up in terms of the offensive efficiency there, getting their points to about a solid 110 or so, looking to make this game about a 220 total. I would bet the over, honestly, up to about 218, even 219.5, as I think we're going to get plenty of those points, and that those surprising numbers with Gobert in the game, still giving up all those points with 109 defensive rating with him playing in their last 6 roadies. I think the home efficiency on offense for Dallas, combined with the defensive inefficiency for Utah on the road lately means we're going to see 220 points tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's two reasons teams will play at that kind of slow pace. One is kind of the New York Knicks style of how do we break down a defense at all, versus the second, which is very under control, which is we're going to get what we want. And for Dallas lately, that's been a wide open three, why they're leading the league in 3-point shooting and why they have such an efficient offense. And you look at Utah is now playing on a back-to-back after having a little trouble with OKC yesterday. And that's key, too. I mean, as they have to go in rotation for longer and longer in the shot clock, Dallas is going to continue to get good looks against this team. And Utah, some pretty stark numbers in terms of just straight-up wins. They're 15-1 when they have a rest advantage. They're 6-8 when they do not, or when they have a disadvantage. Also go 4-2 to the over when they're road dogs. So another stat there in favor of the over. But I mean, Dallas, I'm not going to bet against them right now. They're on the rise here. Utah still in this 10-2 span. I will throw a little cold water on the strength of schedule for them and throw some speculation about how bad they've struggled defensively with Gobert still. You know, the Pelicans led by CJ and Brandon Ingram just broke them down for a 34-point win on Friday. And Dinwiddie has a little CJ McCollum in his game. I mean, if you can get his props before we know about Brunson, I would probably take the over on his points up to 16, 17, 18. He's averaging 22 in 5, since joining Dallas. Very efficient splits, 134 offensive rating. I think he'll have a good game here against the tired Jazz. I think Dallas will look to get this win because we're also talking about a potential first round matchup preview here in the 4-5. And, it's going to be important for them to prove that they can break down this team and get these wins.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're saying if Jalen Brunson does not play, you like Dinwiddie's props as well?
I'm saying if you can get some value before you even know if Brunson's playing, like right now the props aren't up yet. But I'm saying bet Dinwiddie as early as possible and hope Brunson doesn't play. He could probably still get there even if Brunson does play, though.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, I think, if you're going to get Spencer Dinwiddie's props under 20 tonight without Brunson, jump in there. If you're going to get his props around 17.5 with Brunson, I still like it. I think those three guys are going to continue to put up their ridiculous usage rates. Luka, by the way, we should throw it out there since the trade has also been absolutely unconscious. I believe he's averaging about 35, 10 boards, and 7 assists in that time frame. He's sporting about a 40% usage rate in those games as well. We all know he's going to be putting the ball up tonight against these Jazz. So plenty of stuff to like in this one for these points. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page and check out those other couple videos we have for you on this fun 8-game slate. And until we see you next, happy betting.